Things are looking a little dark for our Nappas. They thought Majin Gohan was bad. Wait till you see how intelligent a Subarashi can get. Hey guys, MasakoX here. With the days getting darker and the nights drawing in, we are back with some old classics of the What If universe. Two of the biggest good boys around, almost literally in fact, have taken center stage to provide some very nice vibes in a time when things are getting quite chilly, a little nippy, the autumn months. Now on this channel, things are all about grand journeys for characters that sees their fortunes change for the better, and some for the good when they become better people. Or you could say, turn good. Ah yes. One of the most meta subjects on this very channel comes from one character becoming a good guy and they were originally not so good a guy. And today's subject is of course Nappa. What if he, instead of being bald and bad, was good, but still bald? And there's nothing wrong with being bald, Krillin can attest to that. Now I'm very fully aware that this trope is a little tired right now, but we feel that this whole idea is something very fascinating to explore because it's part of Dragon Ball's history when you look at it. Half of the cast, and that's almost not an exaggeration, started off as villains to Goku and the team, and antagonists to the main cast and crew. Again, mostly Goku. But they do transfer their allegiance to the other side, either through clarity-driven moments and motivations, or simply for the act of self-preservation. It's usually the latter, but it's still something that has been used time and time again within the series to make it feel organic, a plot point, and I believe it will continue to do so in the years to come. People will become good-faced with a whopping from Goku, that's for sure. And I think anyone would. All you gotta do really is just say sorry to the guy and you're home free. In the last part, Cathay, Nappa's current girlfriend, had to come to terms with the fact that her boyfriend was going to be a bit of a handful. 2 handfuls in fact. Both present and future Nappa have once again found themselves in the same place and the same time. And things got pretty heated thanks to the trials of the future at the hands of Gohan Black. Not Goku Black this time around. And despite future Nappa being a very old man at this point, he had managed to avert the signs of aging for Saiyans by basically becoming even more of a cyborg than he was when we first saw him back in the Cell Saga. He had even gained the powers of the Elder Kai with his potential unleashed, and became Ultimate Nappa. Gohan Black has found our heroes and is about to face the 2 large men, before then having to come face to face with the idea that is Gohan from the present, keen to show his future self that he is no pushover. He will fight for his friends. Now before we get started, I would like to introduce to you the Ranch Through Time line of merch over on my store at masako.cc/store. With a shorter domain name, you can feel assured that the quality present at the Teespring store is legit. You can get kid, teen, adult ranch, as well as all of my merch, which can be found again at masako.cc/store, and all of it will go towards supporting the channel and ensuring that I can keep making content hassle-free, and also because hey, R&R is worth wearing. I am so proud of these designs, and I've got more of these in the works, so let me know in the comments what you would like to see, whether you'd like to even see a Nappa-themed design in the future. Thank you for listening. As we left our scene, we saw both present and future Nappa ready to defend Earth from the menace of the future. But there was something that got in the way of that. At least for the moment, or few moments. Our Gohan was keen to show that he wasn't going to let some interloper who would dare to look like him do something so cruel, something he wouldn't do. This had personally upset Gohan, and he was keen to make amends in the only way he knew best, in this place and time that is. Unfortunately for him though, it has nothing to do with conferences. He has charged forward and begun the struggle. Our heroes are witnessing a strange view before their very eyes. We have 2 Gohans in the middle of the sky fighting each other in a very dire showdown. One wearing a very casual type of attire, and the other in a very dark and regal sort of martial arts costume. It's a little surreal, but nobody is taking this lightly, not at all. future Nappa is beyond worried. Gohan, it's too dangerous! Let us handle it! No, me, wait. Let the kid do his thing. He's got a point to prove. President Nappa stops talking and watches his effective nephew do the rest. As of this point in the battle, neither of them have gone Super Saiyan. It's a little tense because of it. It seems like they're both sizing each other up in their base forms to gauge what to do next. This means that the power gap isn't all that major, right? Well, perhaps not. But then, the situation quickly changes when our Gohan realizes that he can't just tie this guy down like this anymore. He can't just keep doing the same thing. He has no choice. He would have to overpower his enemy and either force them to flee or, well, you know. Now remember, this version of present adult Gohan has never fully realized the ultimate form, unlike the Gohan from the original timeline. In this version of events, the circumstances were much more dire on the sacred world of the Kai, so things didn't really happen the way they did, so he needs to rely on good old-fashioned power-ups. It is, however, more than enough to give Black some sort of a beat down. It's not all, bad. Gohan Black is very intrigued by all of this tussling. Not bad. It's quite refreshing to be fighting someone who is actually thinking. They always said that if you want things done right, you should do it yourself. Exactly, says our Gohan Black. That's why I plan to end this myself! Gohan Black simply laughs at this show of bravado, and the battle continues with our Gohan surprising Black with an up-close Masenko. During the fight, Beerus then notices something is a little peculiar with the brand new iteration of Gohan. He remarks about how this other Gohan's ki feels very different. Shouldn't this energy signature be the same as our Gohan or incredibly similar? Oh yes, it is rather strange that this other Gohan can handle himself so well against a Super Saiyan Gohan of all things with just his base form. This is clearly more interesting than I thought it would be. As this is getting longer and longer, the two Nappas have now formed a consensus. Gohan has had his chance to make a point, and they now both want to help and fight off the intruder. But Goku asks them not to intervene. Goku still thinks that our Gohan has got something going that he would rather not have the other Nappas get in the way of. The father of Gohan believes that Gohan is indeed trying to strategize and learn more about this mysterious opponent and then do something. He's indeed correct. Goku fully understands what his son's plan is all about. Now, as in the original arc with Goku Black, the matchup is cut short, thanks to a little thing called time distortion getting in the way. With very little warning, Gohan Black feels a massive pain in his chest, and he also gets sucked back into the time portal in the end, leaving the fight undecided, much to the disappointment and annoyance of future Nappa. And Gohan Black also still destroys the time machine on his way out, I'm afraid. But at this, future Nappa is left devastated. The Nappa from another world knows exactly what this means. Total annihilation for the remaining survivors in his timeline. With nobody to defend them now, he can't get back, things will fall apart, and Gohan Black will have exactly what they want, just left for them to take whenever they want. This can't end like this, it just can't! Everyone else is trying to feel out the situation, as they notice that Gohan Black's ki kept growing during the fight. Yeah, it's a good thing that time had decided to correct itself there and then, because if it hadn't, then things might have meant that more of them would have had to get involved into the mix to ensure what happened in the future doesn't happen here. Gohan notices that he didn't really use his techniques, and while strong, he seemed not used to one-on-one fights. This doesn't make any sense. How could someone who looks like me not know a single thing about how I fight? This is getting weirder by the second. Like in the original, the group also had the whole conversation about the time rings and how they work, and how there are different ones, and this must mean that more of them have been created without proper guidance. And Beerus, for once, is glad that the time machine has been destroyed, effectively stopping the mortals from making more time rings, time traveling, and other types of shenanigans. Sorry. Bulma then reveals that she still has the time machine used by Cell, but it still needs some repairs. Future Nappa is then left feeling a little less crestfallen by this news, but he is still concerned that with every passing second, all this time stuck in the past, it could lead to trouble later on. At the end of the day, the present Dragon team become very clear in their thoughts. They're going to need to help their future compatriot. If this is the kind of thing that will affect the past, they need to help fight for the future. And as a result, everyone is training to prepare for the confrontation with Black. However, there are two people that are going to have to provide some kind of mind training for the likes of Cafe. She's going to have to understand all of this. So during the break, both Nappas explain to Cafe, or at least try to explain to her, everything that has transpired regarding Gohan Black and the like in more detail. Now she has finally been able to have some time to fully grasp the gravity of the situation even more, it's not something that she takes with little reaction. It has obviously shaken her to the core. Alternate times, time travel? It's a bit much for even her open mind. And despite Nappa wanting her to relax, she simply cannot handle this. She quickly departs, being overwhelmed. Present Nappa understandably tries to follow her, but his future counterpart tells him to give her time. This is a lot for her, probably. She's had to take in decades of knowledge in a few minutes. She'll be alright soon. We should probably focus on the task in hand. There is a pause. Future Nappa then decides to try and ease the tension and sadness at this point that his present self is probably feeling right now. So, I see things have been good for you, huh? He says when they're alone. Yeah, I'd like to believe that. Even Vegeta got slightly better. You keep telling me that. But I see that your age is starting to catch up with you. If it weren't for my mechanical parts, I'd probably be in no shape to fight. Not many Saiyans get to this point in their lives, eh? We're really old. Hey, we fight as long as we can, old man. Look who's talking. The two share a laugh. They realize that while they have indeed trained a lot, they should probably get some rest. Future Nappa then gets introduced to Videl, Pan, and even, with some unease granted, to the androids. He can, however, feel that 17 and 18 are living better lives, and that these two iterations of the future ne'er-do-wells are nothing like them. 17 here is my bestest buddy now, future me. We drive huge cars together. Future Nappa rolls his eyes, but deep inside, he tries to imagine how it is to drive a really big car. And at the end of the day, though, he enjoys all of this time in the past with his old and now new friends. He admits to his present self later on that he kinda needed this, just some ease and relaxation. He needed to remember that there was some kind of peace somewhere to fight for, and that it wasn't all doom and gloom, despite it looking like it was from his time's point of view. They end the day with present Nappa showing off his garden. After all this is over, maybe I should get one too. I can pack you some saplings if you want. I'm sure the ground could do with some fresh foliage after all the trouble Black's caused it. Meanwhile, Goku, Gohan, Beerus and Whis go to Universe 10 as the key track has led them there. They go straight for the sacred world of the Kais in said universe, and soon enough discover the likes of Zamasu and Goasu. Zamasu is not very happy seeing all of these mortals here when they're not supposed to be, but Goasu stops him from any action. Whis gets Goasu up to speed with what has happened, and that they are here conducting a simple investigation, nothing major, and they simply just want to check the time rings and see if they're there. None of them are missing, sure enough. Like before, Goku really wants to check out Zamasu's power, having sensed it was pretty big. But Gohan interjects that he wants to be the first one to check it out, having actually had some first-hand experience with it. And the fight seems to be pretty even. That is, until Gohan goes Super Saiyan. He informs him that it's a first for him to finally be going toe-to-toe with a god, since his father fought Beerus after all. Zamasu seems very concerned about all of this. This seems weird. This mortal seems too confident, and not at all scared to be facing the likes of him. And in the end, Gohan wins the duel, leaving Goku just to observe the whole thing, which leaves him very unsatisfied. Well, I could have beat him too. They return to the present, suspecting Zamasu. That is, everyone except Goku. And of course, Goku gets summoned by Zeno and is given the Zeno button. That bit's still in. Meanwhile, the two Nappas use the time they have together in order to boost Vegeta's power. He's still a little behind the rest of the gang to be fully reliable and useful, and what doesn't help all of this is the fact that he is not at all a fan of having a double oaf being his trainer. But he does recognize that both of them are clearly stronger than him at this point, so he has to be quiet on this occasion. And besides, he really wants to close the gap between himself and the others and be able to train with Whis. That is his goal. He's got his eyes on the prize. Meanwhile, Bra observes the whole thing. It makes future Nappa realize even more that his friends in the future are in danger and that he must give his all to save it. Finally, the group is ready to travel. Gohan, both Nappas, and Goku are the ones that will travel into the future. And yes, Bulma did ensure that it had more space, the time machine, when the machine is fixed, given the number of people who are going to be traveling. 2 Nappas are pretty big after all. They are surprised of how bleak and grim the future is. Yeah, this is home. And in the rubble of the building they find future Bra and Bulma. They are alive, but barely. Luckily, Goku has brought some sensu beans. They use them to bring them back from the brink of passing. They all head on for the HQ of the Earth's resistance, slowly trying to prepare against their enemy. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Will this team of Saiyans be able to face off Gohan Black before he goes rosé? If he indeed can. And how will Goku react when he finds out he was wrong about everything? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!